Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the IdOMUSIC podcast, and our goal and our mission is to empower and educate musicians and artists worldwide. And on today's episode, we sat down with artist, producer, curator Kia Shine, discussing the influence of Memphis on music and the culture, developing in the TV and film industry, and spreading positivity with Coffee with Kinfolk. Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the IdOMUSIC podcast, and I'm sitting down with legendary producer / artist / businessman Kia Shine.
All right, what's going on, man? You got to make sure you add the actor to the slash these days.
That's what's up. You got new credits?
New credits.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? Indeed.
What you been working on? You've been acting?
Yeah, I'm in the new SuperFly movie that's coming out June 15th.
Should I be excited for that?
You should be excited. The trailer is out too, and I made the trailer too.
Oh, maybe I just didn't realize.
Yeah, it's I know the beard is a new thing for some people.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm in the trailer. It was a really cool moment that took place while the NBA Finals was on Sunday, where my son and I were watching the game. My sons, and then the trailer came on, and we actually caught the moment. It's on my Instagram, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, it's Kinfolk_Kia Shine. And I posted the video when my son seen it for the first time.
So fun.
But it was really cool, man. I mean, like the experience of actually acting on an actual movie and playing a role. And just doing the experience was really cool.
That's dope. I'm excited for it for sure. Because like at first it was like, remakes. It's like, but
yeah.
I mean the people they have involved with the soundtrack, all of that seems like it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really gonna be cool. You got Trevor Jackson who plays in Grownish, and he's been doing this thing on the acting thing for a long time. So shout out to Trev. You got Jason Mitchell who plays Eazy-E in the NWA movie. He also is in The Chi right now. And you have, let me see, there is Trent who's in it. There's, I don't know if you watch this show that calls White Famous. Comes on Showtime, HBO, but it's a guy named Trent plays in it. He's really dope. Yeah. There's also, you remember Lulu from Paid in Full? He plays in it. Big Boy is in it.
Yeah,
Michael K. Walker, Williams, is with the, I know from The Wire. You know what I'm saying? He's in it. It's a lot of very experienced actors in it. You know what I mean? So I got a chance to learn a whole lot, from that experience. And, it just was a great opportunity. Director X is the director of it.
Who's phenomenal.
He's phenomenal.
Sure.
He really is. And Joel Silver, who is the producer of The Matrix. He's also the producer of the movie as well. So, and of course, Rick Ross' Future has some parts in it as well. So it's just a great movie for the culture.
For the culture, that's what I was about. Exactly.
It really is, man. It really is. Big Bank Black is in it. So it's really true to the culture of Atlanta. And like I said, some really seasoned actors, and I got a chance to get my acting chops on, and I'm excited about it.
Working alongside the big dogs.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, man.
Fire.
So June 15th is going to be in theaters everywhere. So make sure y'all go check that out.
That's what's up. Good for you. Good for you.
Indeed.
So let's just talk about it. You got a long list of experience in this industry as both a producer, an artist, and just like overall businessman, like I said initially. But you're from Memphis, and you've been calling Atlanta your home since what, 2005 now? Yeah,
2005 I moved to Atlanta. Before I had my record deal with Universal Motown, I moved to Atlanta. And it was a situation where Memphis, I felt like I reached my ceiling in my city. I had put out so many acts from Memphis, Yo Gotti, Lil Chat, Gangsta Black, Skinny Pimp, Mr. N, Criminal Main, a lot of great artists from the city. And it was like I did so much, but I just felt like it was a situation where, like, okay, if I gotta get to another plateau in my music. So I need to go to where the pulse of the industry was at the moment, which was Atlanta. And I had Memphis. I had a record called Respect My Fresh. I had Memphis on the record, but it was about getting Atlanta on the record because people at that point in time, really didn't understand the plight of Memphis artists. Right now, you got a real Memphis wave happening. But when I was first pushing the Yo Gottis and my whole rap hustler movement, people didn't really understand the music from Memphis. So it's like we had to get Atlanta to be able to co-sign it. And if you had Atlanta and you had like Houston,
Right.
you know what I mean, then that's how I got my record deal, based on having Atlanta, Memphis, and Houston on the music and on the wave. So I was able to get a deal that way. So it was just a business move. But then even surpassing music, I've always had the wanted to act. That's something that my mom, before she passed away, bless her soul, she wanted me to get into film and television. And of course, film and television is here in Atlanta. So there are things like, even with the SuperFly movie, if I stayed in Memphis or if I lived in Memphis, there are certain opportunities that are privy to those that live here in Atlanta that aren't there. You know what I mean? So Memphis is always in my heart. I have a radio show in Memphis on Hot 107.1. I've been doing every Monday night for the past 5 years. So I make sure that, my voice is still in my hometown. And I'm definitely connected to the city of Memphis. My brother Dirty Fresh, who's a great artist out there and producer. I'm always in the town. But I mean, like, in order for me to be able to do what I got to do, I got to be in Atlanta. And since I've been in Atlanta, I got 3 boys that are from Atlanta. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Indeed. So it just spread my wings.
We welcome you. I love the city of Atlanta. I love the culture that it's a melting pot at this point.
It really is.
So let's talk about growing up in Memphis, though. We hear about the city from many of the popular artists that over the years, like Gotti and Skinny Pimp, who you've worked with, and to now Dolph and Black Boy, JB.
Black Youngster.
Tell us about how your experience growing up there kind of influenced your sound as a producer and an artist. I feel like first off, a lot of the music that you have created doesn't necessarily... Not all of it sounds like Memphis. Like, you're very much so like a universal artist, which is why you've worked with people like Drake and whoever else.
Indeed.
But how can you say your experience just growing up there in a place like Memphis has influenced your sound and just like what you say and your movement?
First of all, Memphis is a very soulful place. You know, understand, when you talk about Memphis music, you got to go back to Stax Records. You got to go back to the greats that came before. Memphis has always been a city that great talent came out of. Isaac Hayes, you know what I mean? Al Green, Willie Mitchell, Sam and Dave. These are people that really, the sound, the soul sound. People were coming to Memphis back in the 60s and 70s to get on.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because the independent legacy of Memphis has always been there. It's just that, with the new culture of hip hop, some of the people that really didn't embrace it the way they needed to be able to see it go. But I mean, I think the soulfulness of Memphis is always in my music. I think, when you listen to A-Ball, MJG, when they came out with this whole pimping like vibe where the music was very pimping and soulful. So, I mean, and then you got pimpful, exactly. And then you got like, crunk music, which I know Atlanta, quote unquote, has people say it came from here, but it's like, really that crunk, you know what I'm saying, came from Memphis, you know what I'm saying? And it's like that sound, that buck jumping and all that or whatever, like that energy in the music or whatever. I remember when Outkast first came out, this might be before your time, back in the 94.
That was right when I was...
Andre said that A-Ball MJG was his his inspiration. So Memphis inspires a lot of music, a lot of artists, but we don't necessarily get our credit for that inspiration. So Memphis is just in me. It's just a soulful, beautiful place that it's in the, like if you go to the West Coast, that's where the tree is at. You know what I mean? Some cities and areas have certain things about them that are privy to what they do. Like, okay, if you was in Detroit, car business was the thing for them. In Memphis, soul music, blues come from Memphis. Right. You see what I'm saying? So there's a whole genre of music that is from Memphis, Tennessee. So you can't help but to be affected by that when you make the music. To me, I try to make music that will be able to appeal to the person down the street, you know what I mean? And then at the same time be able to touch the masses, you know what I'm saying? Because it was important for me to be able to get my sound out of Memphis, to be able to spread Memphis music and get it out there. Absolutely. I remember when I was running around New York with Yo Gotti, people that they didn't understand it or they didn't get it, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So this is before Jay-Z and before L.A. Reid picked him up. So it's like, for me, it's like I feel like the doors are opened, you know what I mean? And I was indirectly or directly, whoever want to, I ain't trying to say I'm the individual that made Memphis to the masses, but I do know in my plight of selling beats for Drummer Boy and picking him up and doing that and pushing Yo Gotti and pushing the brands that are out there today. And, you know what I mean? I know that I had a part in it, you know what I'm saying? Sure. So it's like, I think that now Dolph and Black Youngster, Block Boy JB, a lot of the artists from Memphis now can benefit from that. You know what I'm saying? Because that Memphis sound has done got out there. Now people know what that is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
And where
yeah,
it came
and where
from.
it came from and where it comes from.
So let me ask you this, because even with you saying that people don't really give you guys the credit, we always have the question of, and even we've talked to Drummer and a few other Memphis artists or producers about this. Many say that trap, they don't know where trap music came from. You know, me being from Atlanta and growing up listening to Gucci, Jeezy, T.I., and whoever else, you know what I mean, during that time, you as a person from Atlanta, you just like, yeah, that's what I knew about trap music.
Exactly.
Of course, I grew up, you know, listening to the 3 6, the whoever, you know, Project Pat. But many would say that that trap actually came from Memphis. Would you agree?
Well, I would say this. Okay, trap music, T.I. was the first to put trap music, like the actual phrase, together. You know what I mean? And we'll go back to like phrases and what it means to start a phrase and what it means to really be able to put a phrase together. But it's like he definitely was the first to coin trap music. You know what I mean? Back in 2003, that's what he called his album. He put that together first.
Right.
Okay, so he labeled it. Now, the sound sonically of trap music, you definitely have to put 3 6 Mafia, T-Mix, Slice T, Drummer, you know, Lil Pat, I'm DJ Squeaky. I'm naming producers that really had started that dark, like with the heavy drums and the heavy AOA. That really was them. You know what I mean, with that sound. And even Metro Boomin spoke on that and said that that's where he got that sound from. So T.I. named it trap music. Sonically, I do believe Memphis had an influence on the culture of trap music.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a well said. Yes. So you were confident in your business savvy. I'm always interested because a lot of times we talk to artists and producers or just people in the music industry that don't really have a hold on their business side. But you were confident in your business savvy and your skills as a producer early on. You actually turned down a pretty good promotion when you were working in like the casino industry.
Yes.
Why pursue, even though you had the money, or you had an opportunity to make some really good money, why pursue passion before that money?
Because, and this is, I hope that this inspires somebody listening, right? Okay, so when you work your 9-to-5 job, you know what I mean? If that is what your calling is, like if you are meant to be a manager or some spot or whatever, that's what you're doing, great. Then that's your calling. To me, but you do understand that when you do that, it's like it's more like if you're watching Pro Tools, right, when you record, so there's going to be lines of vocals or whatever going up and down like that, like if you're looking at a monitoring or if you're looking at a lie detector test, it's like these lines. Okay, so your line of life is going to be like, okay, I work my job, I come home, and that's it. So it's like it's not going to be much more to it. I mean, if you got you a good paying job, you work for Coca-Cola or something, and it's just gonna be going to work, come home, you know, and just doing your thing. Your money is guaranteed. You got what you got going, and that's what it is. If that's what you're supposed to do with your life, great. But if you feel like there's a calling deeper in you that you're supposed to do more than that, okay, then it's like you feel like doing that normal 9-to-5, even if you're making $100 a year, you still are like kind of copping out. You know what I mean? I signed up for the roller coaster ride. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be just a mundane lifestyle. I don't want to just suppress the things in me that I know I'm supposed to do. You know what I mean? Because you got that, you know inside of you. Like my grandma used to say, you're knower. Right. You know it inside you. You know what I mean? What you're supposed to do. So for me, taking that job and doing that thing with the casinos, though it probably would have meant a secure, more stable lifestyle. But for me, man, I mean, there's much more of a satisfaction when you can be able to eat what you kill and speak what you feel and be able to make your own way. You know what I mean? That's just something about the feeling of that. I'm addicted to that. The ability to be able to just eat what you kill and provide. And like God was an artist. He created the world. You know what I mean? So I create what I eat. You know what I mean? And so for me, that was just the path for me. I knew there was something greater there. Now that's where the faith comes in at,
Right.
because you're believing something in here that you don't necessarily see out here. You know what I mean? In the natural.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, it was like, okay, in the natural, like I got 2 kids. You know what I mean? I had 2 kids, about 2 different baby moms at the same summer or whatever, because I was, a bit promiscuous in my, in my Memphis days. But at the end of the day, like, I was like, it made sense to just work a job and do that. But it was like, I started investing in my little brother's rap group, and started a label, and I just believed that, like, man, like I seen something better, I seen something in it, and I was willing to just take that roller coaster ride and be able to do it. And there were moments in my life where I was like, man, that whole 100,000 a year probably would have been better just sitting there going through the stuff I'm going through. But at the end of the day, I am so thankful that I was able to follow my dream and my passion, because I think even if I would have had that mundane, maintained that lifestyle, who knows, man? Would the company have closed down?
That's what I was going to ask. Had you accepted that promotion early on, would you have been happy?
Yeah, would I have been happy in here?
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just I got to go with that, man. I got to go with my gut every time.
Yeah,
I got to bet on myself.
I mean, right, exactly. Reading your story, you seem to be very selfless. You decided after getting your distribution deal to go back to discover and help artists like Gotti. I mean, we talked about Skinny Pimp. We talked about, just everybody from your hometown that you were a part of, just, growing with.
Yeah.
Why? Why was it important to do this Rap Hustlers? And I don't know, just very selfless, because you could have really just stayed in New York and done what you needed to do for yourself.
Man, that's a really good question, man, because sometimes my wife, I remember when I was going through some certain things in my life, my wife would ask me, she was she was living in LA at the time, and she was like, well, why don't you just move out here, you know what I'm saying, and just be out here. And I'm like, man, I can't just do that, like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there's something much more, you know what I mean, there's something much more to what I got to do. But yeah, I felt like, you know what I mean, for me, like, okay, with it, I don't know, man. I just feel like God got this thing where it's like I got to help people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I got to help people.
It's bigger than you.
It's bigger than me. You know what I'm saying? I got to help people. I got to do. It ain't just about me. You know what I'm saying? If it was, you know what I mean, I'd probably be in a better situation. But I love to be able to help other people and be able to get them they look. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I ain't never been no hater, man. I always been an individual that, like, if God can use me to be able to bring something out of you, that's what a producer is. A producer, in the general sense, is like, if you have a vision, all right, and I could see the things that you got, and you got this piece missing and this piece missing. Okay, why would I not just freely say, yo, let me help you, bring you this piece and this piece so you can get to where you're going?
Right.
Because ultimately, even if it's like what I do for you is gonna do for me in life.
Exactly.
In the long run. So, like, I just felt like, I knew Gotti had something. I knew there was something special about him.
What was it?
He had a voice. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of time when people be rapping, like, they don't have a voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have a voice first and foremost, because you listen to music. Mm-hmm. So you have to have a actual voice that people can be able to, that is different, that stands out. And that gives you a little longevity with what you're doing. So, you know what I mean? So Gotti had a voice and he had a grind. You know what I mean? And I was able to help him to critique that and perfect that grind and musically be able to help him grow. You know what I mean? And that was just a great opportunity for me, you know what I'm saying, to be able to. And then also there were things in me that I wanted to develop. And it's like, yeah, Kia Sean, I wanted to rap. You know what I mean? I could always rap. Mm-hmm. But it was like, I learned how to hone my skill set by working on other people's albums. You know what I'm saying? So but I was helping them, but really was helping me.
Right.
You know what I mean? At the same time. So it was great. And if I could be used, it says this in life, it says, if, like, in life, the people that you want to be great, you got to ask, who have you assisted to be great? Mm. I think Russell Simmons said that. Mm. Who have you assisted to be great if you want to be considered to be great? You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You have to lay down your own, you just got to do that. You know what I mean? And when you do that, I think, like, God sees that and he, like, honors that.
Definitely.
Because the things that I wanted, like, so from 1998 when I started my first label, when I started Diamond Cut Entertainment, And then in 2001, when I started Rap Hustlers, from 2001 to really 2007, when I dropped my first album, it was really all about helping other people. Whether it was, okay, I met this dope producer, Chris Golson. He was in Cordova High School. The boy had some dope beats. And I happened to, by mistake, sell his beat to Dino Del Valle at Universal Motown.
How?
It was like, okay, so Dino was in the Dino Del Valle signed Cash Money to the $30 million deal. This is in '98. Mm-hmm. I meet Dino in 2000. He's in the city trying to sign Player Fly. And at the time, a friend of mine brought him by my crib and said, you should check out this dude, Kia Sean. He had this label, Diamond Cut. So he comes by, checks me out. He says, Dino says, if you ever get to New York, look me up. So I took a flight. I got his information, came up there. Me and my label made some new music, and we brought it to Dino up there. It was just me by myself. I went up there. First trip to New York in the 2000, going to 2001. And I was playing the music. He didn't like none of the music. So I said, maybe he would like if I spit a verse. Because I could always rap, but it's like, I was rapping back in high school or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so I could rap, but I'm like, I could tell this dude felt my energy. So maybe if I spit for him on top of a beat, he'll dig what I'm doing. I mean, I'm in New York. I flew up here this whole way. This is my first meeting with a major label, so I might as well do it.
Right.
So I got ready to rap, and I played the beat. And when I played the beat, he stopped it. It was on the tape too. I remember. He said, "Yo, who beat is that?" I said, "Man, what's my beat? I was finna spit a verse to you." He says, "Man, I'll buy that beat." I says, "You will."
You will.
He says, I said, well, how much? Because I never bought beats at that time. I always just got them from producers. I just got that beat from the producer at the time that I thought was dope. Mm-hmm. He was like, "I'll give you $5,000 for that beat." When he said that to me, it's like my whole business strategy and model switched. I was like, okay. So I'm up here trying to sell my brother's music and the group he had at the time. And now it's like, okay, you're telling me you will actually buy this beat for $5,000? Okay. I went back home and got all the beats from that producer I could find. You know what I mean? And kept coming up to New York selling beats. I started Rap Hustling. That's how I started my label, Rap Hustling. I'm hustling these beats.
Gotcha.
And so the beat was by Drummer Boy. It was Drummer Boy's beat. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up selling his beats. Wow. And I ended up getting a publishing deal based on, you know what I mean, the beats or whatever and all that. And a song deal with Rough Riders during the time. And it kind of, things kicked off for me right then. So I was able to get a song deal with Rough Riders. Rough Riders was on fire during the time. Mm-hmm. And I just started making a name for myself in my city then for just being that dude who could go sell beats and bringing producers money. But see, with producers, like Drummer might have like 20 beats, right? And I listen to him and be like, nah, that's the beat. That's the beat. Let me get that one and that one. Then I go fly to New York and I sell it. So then I started making myself feel, it gave me confidence to know, like, I know what a hot beat is.
So
you know what I mean?
Do this.
So I could just do this. And so me and Drummer, we split in 50-50. You know what I mean? Drummer just out of high school, you know what I'm saying? And we get money. So this is before he moved down here, you know what I'm saying? So, it was just a blessing to be able, and Insane Wayne, R.I.P., rest in peace, Insane Wayne.
Yeah.
Started with him too, was selling his beats too, making money with him too. So I made money and for a lot of Memphis producers, and then started to hear the trip beats, and then I'm like, you know what? Okay. Then I would get mad if a person, I would play a beat and somebody didn't like the beat. I'd be like, man, y'all crazy. So I'm like, all right. So then it's personal now. Now I want to like take these beats and I want to do more with them.
True.
So I got a publishing deal from Manny Edwards. My first trip to LA, I met with him. We linked. He liked my vision and where I was going with signing the producers and selling beats. So he gave me $125,000 on a publishing deal. I got a pub deal and I came back to Memphis. And I signed all the acts.
That was with Universal?
No, that was Universal Music Publishing.
Music Publishing, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
This is before I signed Universal Records.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Dino worked at Universal when I first met with him. It's crazy how the Universal thing had always been like around. But like so I went and signed the groups that from Memphis that had a buzz. Because I'd already was putting out my brother's music through Selecto Hits during the time for like 4 years. I was putting out music. We weren't really making a lot of money, but I was buying a lot of lessons and learning. Yeah. But it was like, okay, now like I gotta figure out artists that actually have a buzz, or so I can be able to take what they got and kind of piggyback off of they buzz and then bring what I know to the forefront. Because I'm in the labels, I see how they work in their stuff, and I'm like, this is how I can do it. So I got the information and I applied it, and I picked up Yo Gotti. Yo Gotti hadn't had songs on the radio during that time. He just had a record out that was hot in the clubs, but he wasn't on the radio or anything like that. Skinny Pimp had like I already had previous sales history. So it was like, let me start with these guys. You know what I mean? And then be more like the P. Diddy of Memphis and kind of rap on it, build my brand, but then build a brand at the same time. And that's what I did, and it worked. You know what I mean? I was able to reinvent myself. Because that's one thing about it. If I would have went there and started going back to the conversation that we just was having about selling the Drummer Boy beat from the first joint, if I would have had my mind set on just, I'm going to sell my brother's group as a group, that's it. That's it. Man, I would have never got money.
Right.
It would have been like, okay, I had to be smart enough to be able to say, you know what, okay, let me remove my feelings out of it and say, oh, he wants to buy this beat. Some artists and some producers and some people listening right now, you got to understand, you got to do that. You got to make lateral moves sometimes. You know what I mean? Not saying that, because guess what? I knew I wanted to rap, and I did get my chance to come out with an album and do my solo rap thing or whatever and do that and all that later on. It wasn't time for it right then. I had to go ahead and put that in my back pocket and get the bag and put that bag in my front pocket. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, you got to be able to not be so set and so stubborn in what you think, but be able to kind of go with what actually is, what's going to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I was able to do, and that's you know what I mean. And and it worked for me.
That's a great story.
You know what I mean?
Phenomenal story. You said that or you've been on record saying that there's like this crab in a bucket situation that happened in Memphis or happens in Memphis.
Yes.
Why would you say artists don't support each other in Memphis? And I mean, because you would think with so much talent in one place, similar to like in Atlanta, we work together, and that's a lot of times, or I hear a lot of other places like a DC even where there's a lot of talent there, but they don't work together.
Yeah, they don't.
So even with like Memphis, why is that? Why don't people work together? What's y'all just hang on each other? Like
you got to go back to where was Martin Luther King slain?
Where was he
killed?
Oh, in Memphis.
Okay, so. In Memphis, has always been this stigma that's been on us before I even got here. It's just like this. It's like if it was a lot of hate was rooted. The reason why blues music was started in Memphis, because in Mississippi, is because what is blues?
Right.
Well, we provided the atmosphere.
That's true.
You know what I mean? We all the hate and all that. Between the racial situations and all that or whatever, if you come into this studio, right? When I come into I like working in this room and I like working into the B room, right? But when I come into Patchwerk's period, I feel creative. I feel that energy. You know why? Because that spirit is what's in here.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Energy don't die. Mm-hmm. When that energy is in Memphis, that energy that's there is like a negative energy. That's why we make that negative, dark, gangster shit. So that's why we make it, because it's where it's from. Okay, so it's just that mentality. It's damn near it's like individuals just want to be up. Like they don't want to see you do well unless they're on top of you. And then I'm the hardest nigga in the game. I'm the trapper of the year. It's me. But then there's other dudes like, nah, bro, that nigga ain't real. He ain't do all the stuff he saying he doing. It's me. But it ain't, it's just your hometown breeds the most haters. That's just what it is. Now Atlanta has figured it out, but I think it becomes more of the gatekeepers and trendsetters and influencers understand that we gotta keep this thing rolling. There's gonna be somebody else is gonna be hot. There's gonna be a new nigga that's gonna be hot. But then we gonna still show love to the old cat when he come back out. Like, okay, if Jeezy come out and drop, we gonna still show love to Jeezy. But then if Hood Rich Pablo got a dope record out right now, we gonna support that too. Right. It's just I think that's if people understand for it to be Memphis is more about it being a king of Memphis.
I understand.
But in order for it to be a scene in Memphis, it has to be more than one thing in Memphis.
That's true.
And now that's what's taking place. It's like, yo, you got to everybody has to get out for people to see that, hey, Memphis music makes money and it charts. So if they're, and because of the way this cookie cutter music game go, if everybody is making some Memphis music and is making some money, then you're going to have the label and executives are going to go ahead and say, hey, Memphis got a buzz going. Hey, let's go to Memphis. Let's pick up the next dude. Let's do this. Okay, Drake. Okay, Memphis got a buzz going. Let me go hop on Block Boy JB song. You know what I mean? Let me do something with him because the buzz is going that direction. You know what I mean? So that's what's going on now. But it's just Memphis artists just have a real then it's like, egos, man. Like, you know what I mean? Put the E in the back pocket and just go instead of just being, who cares, man? Like, your baby mama did this with me and who cares, man? You know what I mean? If you knock my baby mama, I don't care. I've been done. I've been done with her. You know what I mean? So I don't bother me. But some guys have egos and they're very egotistical and because they put themselves in a bubble, like I got this money, it's me. I got all this money and fame and power, so it's me. And it's like that's why the Dolphin, the Gottis, and people like that don't seem to see straight. But boy, if we would ever get together on one accord, man, wouldn't a great tour, the way touring is making money right now, touring and streaming is where we're making the money at. So it's like, why wouldn't the Memphis tour be crazy? Why wouldn't it be a crazy tour with Dolph, Gotti, Black Youngster, Moneybag, Block Boy JB, Juicy J, and then bring some guys like Kia Shine in there, 8-Ball MJG and Pat? Man, we'll sell out. We'll sell out. You know what I mean? Why don't we do that kind of stuff? Like, you know what I mean? That's what needs to happen.
We know hip hop has had its fair share of beefs. And as I was researching, I wasn't even going to really bring this up, but I feel like it's important because, I mean, Kia Shine in 2000, whatever, to Kia Shine in 2018 is completely different. But you've been involved in some things and had conversations with some artists, from your hometown or whatever. But how have you tried to stay away from the negativity and drama to stay focused on your music? And why was that always important for you? Because even, I'm going to just throw it out there, with your interaction with 3-6, you reacted to that. And you said your fair share of what you had to say, but I feel like you said it in a it was like a positive way about it.
I'm gonna be positive, period. Like, I'm just a positive individual. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, do I do shit piss me off sometimes? Yes, course. But I'm going to try to always take the high road and be positive about it. Like, okay, 3-6 Mafia, that situation, man. I have nothing but love for Paul and Juicy. During that time, it was that same mentality. Rap Hustles was making this move. There wasn't anything out of Memphis at the time. But it was just 3-6 Mafia. So it was like we had to fight to get our respect in the city or whatever. And then dudes would get on live remotes and say rap busters and talk down to us. So of course, when he said that or whatever, I had to shoot back. And when I shot back, it started these street wars mixtapes that I came out with, and it was just some dope music. But it was beefing, rap beefing, and all that or whatever, and it was fun back in the day. But then it's like, to me, when I look back at it, you know what I mean. And even then the thing with the story, that's when I figured out about how the internet could put a slant on things. I'm like, man, okay, wow, I wouldn't ran out the store. I was right there. We were taking pictures, and then all of a sudden, Paul switched, and then my cousin Fraser Boy, who was an Oscar winner, who wrote "Hard Out Here for a Pimp," Cedric Coleman. Okay. He's my first cousin. It's like, okay, he was like, man, Paul was just, he was just up there that day or whatever. Cause I'm like, man, nobody. I'm 6'7", and I stay in the gym. Ain't nobody gonna run me out of nowhere. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it was obvious that was media.
That's not gonna happen. But at the end of the day, I have no issues with those dudes. I just hate that the internet is written in pen and not pencil. Cause I don't. Some of that shit, man, it's funny. People still go back and look at that stuff and they still think that that's the play or whatever. But nah, I got no beef with none of those dudes. No problem with Juicy. I love how Juicy has reinvented himself with Taylor Gang and has kept his wave going and kept putting out music and doing this thing. And I just see how they're being sampled right now. And I love that. I think Memphis is finally getting his look, his light. Right, you know what I'm saying? Cardi just resampled. I put out an album on Lil Chat, and I hope the guy Lil Chat got out publishing on this record, because that Chicken Head record, that Cardi Bacon Head record, man,
it's going crazy.
You gotta understand, publishing is how we really, that's the 401k for musicians is publishing. So it's if she got her publishing on that record, then she got some new checks that's gonna start coming. It's gonna be a good blessing for her. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, definitely.
But shout out to Gangsta Boo too, because Boo, you know what I mean, also, you know what I mean, for the women, and she been on a lot of dope shit too. You know what I'm saying? So, I just always wanted to see Memphis get his light. You know what I'm saying? That's all.
I think it's definitely underway. I want to talk about one of the songs that was my first, not my first look at Drake, but you co-wrote Best I Ever Had. It was his first hit record.
It was his first hit record. Yeah.
Yes. And it was kind of like him putting himself on the map for sure. And to see where he is in 2018 is definitely a big step in the right direction. So he sold about 3 million records.
Yes. We almost
3
at
million
4.
singles.
We almost at 4.
For real?
Yeah, it's almost at 4.
That's crazy. That was Drake So Far Gone, which
Yeah.
went gold.
Yeah.
How did that come about? How did you co-write a record with Drake? And a lot of people thought that you ghost wrote it.
Yeah,
right?
and I love to clear this up. But clarification is people fail through lack thereof of knowledge. So okay. So what happened was 2000 and I don't know, I think it was 8. Wayne was in the studio working the High Beats. I had a good relationship with Wayne because I had already bought a feature from him on this record that I did with Skinny Pimp and called Do What You Do that I was on with him, and we messed with him hard from back in the day. So he was in the studio. Russ called me and said, come by, Wayne here. So I come through and holler at Wayne. And this is when Wayne is on fire.
Right.
So I go through, I holler at him, and I play him some beats and some hooks. And then, Wayne, he was working on a feature at the time. So I was like, all right, I'm leaving this with you. Come back. Got a phone call from my guy, Atlantic Records. They was like, in DJ Absolute, he was like, yo, they want to buy this record you did for Wayne. So I'm like, what you want to buy? Wayne already did it. It was like, well, Jaheim want to use the beat. So did Wayne buy the beat? I'm like, well, Wayne ain't bought the beat, but at the end of the day, he put the joint on the mixtape, and I mess with dude. So it's like, I'm gonna call him and see if he, in that time frame, I'm trying to call and see if Wayne want to actually buy the beat to the verse, to the record. Then my man called me back from Atlantic and was like, yo, why did you sell the beat to Drake? I'm like, well, who is Drake? And you know what I'm saying? He was like, well, he got the beat. Clearly, he has the beat. You know what I'm saying? And then the DJ, the Absolute, said the same thing. So I'm like, here's a DJ and an A&R, and they both telling me that this dude got my record. So I'm like, okay, well, let me at least check it out. So then I checked the record out, and they sent it to me, and I'm like, well, damn, it do sound like the record I did for Wayne. Sent it to my publishing company. The publishing company was like, sent it to the musicologist, and the musicologist said, yeah, this record definitely came from your record. So then they put everything in motion and gave me 25% of the record. Okay, This is already taking place. So while the Best I Ever Had song is playing and doing this thing, I'm like, all right, cool. I had no problem. I'm like, man, this record is really hitting for this dude.
Yeah.
And he sampled my record. Because he sampled my record, I got 25% of the record. Okay. So that's why my name is listed as a writer. If you sample someone's work, their name has to be listed as a writer of the record. So about a year later, I'm at BMI Awards because I won some BMI Awards for it. And this is when the internet, this you gotta think, it's funny because I was in the music game prior to the internet becoming like the blogs and all that, becoming a thing, and social media and all that. So, it's like I started to see how social media could take stuff and run with it. So I'm just doing a clip at the BMI. Somebody asked me, they was interviewing me. They said, man, what you win an award for, Sean? I said, I won an award for the co-write of Best I Ever Had. And that shit went viral or whatever. And then Drake comes out and says I'm lying about it. And I'm like, well, I'm not actually lying about it because I'm sitting here winning an award for it. What I mean? But and then, everything, if you look at the credits was already situated prior to the record coming out. One thing about it, I was on my business, and I always be on the business when it comes to my music. So it's like, okay, everything was a paper trail already was laid out, so I was able to get my money from it. And then Wayne bought the beat from me, original beat from me as well. So all the business was straight. I just didn't like how Drake came. Portrayed. Yeah, I didn't like it because it's like he didn't ever come back and say, you know what, I was wrong about that. Let me correct myself on that. He did actually sample. The record was sampled from him, and you know what I mean? Because think about how many more records I could have written if he wouldn't have came out and said that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think to him being new, he just didn't want it to. He didn't know. He also didn't want it to seem like, I don't write my own shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like.
Which still came out. Which still came out.
Yeah.
That, you know what I'm saying? That later on, that he does not write all his own music, and it's okay.
It's okay.
We all don't write all our music.
Right.
It doesn't matter who writes it. What matters is the end result.
Right.
Of the song. Do you like the song? Is it a great song? You know what I mean? Cardi don't write all that stuff either. You know what I mean? Who cares?
Yeah.
It's about just making a great song and
delivering.
When I listen to a song, I'm not listening to. Well, I know he wrote that part. I hate that part. Who wrote? I don't care about that, man. It's dope. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good record.
Yeah, it's just a good record, man. Make good records and good music, and then whoever wrote it gets checks, and everybody keep getting some money, and families getting fed, and everybody happy, man. That's what really matters. You know what I'm saying?
That's what matters. Yeah.
You know, but I hope I really would like to. You know, part of me would love to have. I would love for Drake to say, you know what, man, my bad about that, bro. My bad. I was wrong about that. You know what I'm saying? I would love for him to say that. I mean, you are Drake. You're like, you know what I mean? You are like one of the best in the game or whatever. But at the end of the day, that would help. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's the thing I know about music, man. Most dudes, man, they ain't gonna try to help you, man, unless they ain't gonna help you unless they could benefit them. You know what I mean? And that sucks, man. You know what I mean, about the culture.
But the positive thing about the situation, I think, and what you already said, is that you handled your business from the beginning.
Yeah.
So, I mean, had you not done that, then this would have been a totally different situation.
Yeah, it's just been like I've been telling my sons, you know, Daddy, I had something to do with that, man. But, you know, I didn't get paid, though. So, hey, you know, it's what it is. You know.
Let me ask you some of your influences and, like, I mean, we haven't even really touched the surface, but early on you worked with like Luda, Juvenile, 8Ball, like some really big, huge acts and huge acts, excuse me. Big, huge. I was just really excited.
Huge.
What was that like? Like, how were those sessions? I mean,
Juvie, man, Juvie is he's a really good dude. You know what I'm saying? Luda is, Juvie is a really good dude. Luda's he's an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? Because those sessions were great. They were, man, like, you know, those were just confirmations. God will send you confirmations through people when you're at a point where it's like, man, you know, you're looking for those. It's like when you calling back to history and you looking at the notes and you talking about things that I've done. But I think about it like, man, you know, I may have been in this spot during this time, and you wonder like, man, am I still, is this still what I'm supposed to be? And then, boom, here's Ludacris, and here's the situation. These are like confirmations and answered prayers, and they give you inspiration to keep going.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And I always say you take a step towards your vision will take 2 steps towards you. So it's like those things were just confirmations, and they were great situations, and they were blessings that gave me the wherewithal to keep going.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? So they were great. But I think when you mention that, like, I just like want to tell somebody that's like listening, like the in between times and in the mean times, man. Like when you going through those things and you just working on your craft and you by yourself, and you know they're not talking about you and they're not on you right now, is what you do in the dark that brings the light to you. So just continue to keep working, because you got to remember, like when you sign up for this lifestyle, it's gonna be valleys and peaks. It's gonna be ups and downs, highs and lows. But it's like the once you get to a certain point, your lows don't be as low, and your highs be even higher. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you just gotta keep persevering and keep going. I always use the theory of the fruit tree. This is my fruit tree theory. It's like you could be going through something and you're like this. Okay, like right now, as we are in May, so now the trees are starting to leave. And then you'll have fruit come from these branches soon. Okay, if you're apple tree, pear tree, fruit tree, peach tree, we in Atlanta, so any of that. Okay, but then you're gonna go through a season where those leaves and the fruit is gonna fall off, and that tree's gonna be bare. Okay, when that tree is bare, is that tree still a fruit tree?
Yes.
Yeah, it still is. It's just bare.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It has to go through the season of pruning for it to be able to come back in its next season and have more fruit. So if you're listening to me, it's like you're going to have certain seasons where you bear, but you're still a fruit tree. You know what I'm saying? You just got to go through that progression. You got to go through that situation to where, because see, the way the game work, when you bear and you done went through your season, somebody else going to be in their season. They got fruit. So everybody got to eat. So they're going to be picking from, people just going to be picking from whatever is right there in front of them. They're going to be picking from that fruit, right? So you can't be mad if they picking because that person's got fruit. And they pick it from your fruit may be an exotic fruit. Your fruit may come every 2 seasons. You see what I'm saying? So it's like you have to just be able to bear it, continue to work, and then all of a sudden that fruit will come. You know what I mean? And you feel like, man, all right, man, whoo. So I still can, you know what I mean? I'm still am what I am, you know what I mean? But you gotta know that anyway. You gotta know that. Period. You just gotta know that. You know what I mean? So, you know.
Dang, I could talk to you all day. I think we got a session coming in soon.
All right, cool.
But I do want to ask you before we go, what comes first for you, drums or the melody?
Man, that's crazy. That's a great question. The melody come first, because a lot of the songs that I had to be successful is like the melody will come first, and I have the producers make the beat, or we make the beat around what I'm already hearing. Mm-hmm. Those songs seem to be the best records.
Cool.
Seriously.
That came from an actual artist, actually. I asked him, like, what would you ask a producer like Kid Shine? He's like, what, the drums or the melody?
Yeah, the melody first, and then once you get the melodies, you can always make the drums around it. You know what I'm saying? But that's truly making music when you can, because the artists have the melody, man. You need the melody. You know what I mean?
Definitely, I agree. And then let's talk about right now. I saw tell us about the Coffee and Kinfolk.
Yeah,
it's like very motivational, inspiration.
Yeah.
Blog, podcast. The website's pretty fire.
Yeah, it's basically I got sick of looking at my phone and seeing negative stuff I mean, we all go through our phones in the morning. What I try to do is cut my phone off and go pray first and do stuff without the phones, because I got to remember, I know we black millennials, we all white millennials, we millennials, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, but we got to remember there was a time before millennials, you know what I'm saying? There was a time when you had to get hot in the street before it. So I had to keep myself like that. But when I get my phone, I saw this negative stuff. I'm like, man, can I put something positive in the air to help somebody else before I start to focus on me, career, well, all I got to do for me, can I just get this out to somebody else? So that's what I do with Coffee with Kinfolk. It's just inspiration for your situation. It's just some motivation. It's just some positivity for your day to get you going on the right way. I will expand it into something very cool. It's going to be a morning show. It's gonna be more than just a podcast.
Right.
And we're putting it together right now.
That's dope.
So, but yeah, that's what Coffee with Kinfolk is, man. It's just, coffee is literal. Hopefully, something I'm saying wakes you up.
Right.
You ain't got to drink coffee to be able to tap into it. Cause I'm drinking. I ain't drinking coffee. I'm drinking juice. I'm drinking this essential water right here. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's what Coffee with Kinfolk is. And it's just in today's society, you got to be able to let the consumer. In millennial society, you have to let the millennials know what you are daily. Right. You got to be able to get at people daily with what you're doing. Because I'm from the point, like Outkast came out with albums every 2 years, and I waited for that. But it's like in today's marketplace, you got to be able to give them something every day.
Feed them something, some type of content.
Feed them some kind of content. So I'm feeding them Coffee with Kinfolk every day or every other day. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, and you're very, very positive, and the light radiates from you. I appreciate the positivity that you're giving to those that are listening.
No, I appreciate the soapbox and being able to speak from it.
For sure. What I'm saying? Keep doing what you're doing. Any last words of advice for any upcoming producers and artists? You gave us a lot, but just if they're listening to this right now and they're kind of in that in-between stage, I know you've been through your ups and downs.
Yeah, remember the fruit tree theory, and everybody sleeping on you gonna wake up working for you. You know what I'm saying? That was one of my theories, one of my isms that I see people use it a lot. But I started that everybody sleeping on you gonna wake up working for you. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of time and a matter of grind. You know what I mean? Just keep your right positive state of mind, because it's all in the battle. It's right here. It's all in here. You know what I'm saying? It's a good wolf and a bad wolf in you, right? And it's like the one that's they both having a battle. The one that's going to win is the one that you feed. Feed your positivity. You know what I'm saying? And and that's really it, man. And if you need some more inspiration, watch Coffee with Kinfolk every morning. CoffeeWithKinfolk.com. Make sure y'all watch in Atlanta season 2. We didn't talk about that real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Atlanta, I'm in Atlanta season 2, episode 203. Moneybag Shorty is the name of the episode. So if y'all go back and look at that joint, you see me. I got a scene with Donald Glover. You can go to my Instagram.
Fire.
I got that on my gram too. So I'm excited about the acting, and also if you play video games, there's a video game called Red Devil Redemption, and by Rockstar Games, and I'm a voice on that game.
What?
You know what I'm saying? That's coming out later this year. So
the
film and TV is something that I'm dead serious about. And just like you saw Luda, Mark Wahlberg, Will Smith, Donald Glover, Queen Latifah, like that's what Kia Shine is going to be. You know what I'm saying? So pray for me and stay for me.
Definitely. That's what's up. I'm excited for you. Got to tell them one last time where they can find you on social media.
Go to Kinfolk_Kia Shine. Kia like a car, shine like a star. And coffeewithkinfolk.com. That's where it is, man. You know what I'm saying?
You're such a poet. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in, and thank you for sitting down with me.
Music, goddammit.
As always, you guys can follow us on the podcast, IDM Podcast on Instagram.
Yeah.
And you can always follow me at Sammy Approved. We thank you so much for sitting down.
Thank you so much for your time, man. Bless.
Sonically superior.